Good morning. Welcome to Horizon Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Dan Crane, and I'm the worship associate today, along with Alan. We're excited to welcome you to our service this morning. Whether you join us in person or virtually, whether you're here for the first time or whether you've been here for longer than you care to remember, we are so glad to have you with us today. Here at Horizon, we welcome people of all faiths, of no faith in particular. Whoever you are, wherever you are on your journey, you are welcome among us. As a community, we also welcome the sharing of joys and sorrows and concerns. You're welcome to fill out joy and sorrow cards. There's some up here in front. There's some behind the chairs. And bring them up to this bowl. This can be done anytime before the service or in the service from the beginning through the offertory. There are a couple of announcements I'd like to make at this time. Children are always welcome in the service. Today and for the next 2 Sundays, children entering kindergarten and younger are welcome to spend part or all of the morning in childcare with our staff. Children up to the ages of 14 can go to room S2, that's the blue room, for a supervised free time with our staff and volunteers after the time for all ages. People of all ages are welcome to make use of the hands-on workshop table over here and the soul work bags that are distributed throughout the seats there during the service. Please see the announcements section in your order of service and check out our bulletin board outside for more information about this and other events and opportunities. And at this time, I'd like to call Kent Darwin for an announcement.
Good morning. Good morning. My name is Kent Darwin, and I'm responsible for finding the various arts that are in our sanctuary. And today we have a unique experience. We have 6 artists from our First Church UU in Dallas, and they're called the Creatives. And I'm going to introduce each one of them that are here today, and so that you'll get to see who these artists are. And then after the service, there will be a greet and meet in the fellowship hall. They have brought some samples of their works that are not on exhibit on our walls that will be for sale and for you to consider. And I hope you will take the time to meet these artists, because they gave their time and their talent to exhibit on our walls. And we want to thank them for cooperating and supporting our church with their art. The first person I'd like to introduce is Annie Adams. If she would stand and so everyone could see who she is. The second artist I'll introduce is Sarah West Bellamy. She didn't know that I was going to do this to her. We have David Schultz with us today. Gwen Powell. And another artist that you'll recognize, possibly having seen him in our church from time to time, is David Polk. David is part of the UUA. He's one of the regional managers for our region. And we have one other artist who is not here yet, and maybe before the service is over, and her name is Kathy Chapman Hackman. So there'll be 6 of us. You'll hopefully enjoy seeing their works, and thank you very much.
Good morning. My name is Eileen Terrell, and I am the service leader today. I am one of those who has been here almost longer than I can remember, and my preferred pronouns are she, her. Did you know that today, July 2nd, is the exact midpoint of our year, since this is not a leap year? And I feel certain that for most of us, this has been an eventful year so far. Today, though, whether the year has been a roller coaster or a lazy river ride, we are here, together, online for some and in person for others. How wonderful. We can share space and time, share intentional attention to each other, meet someone new, and maybe make a new friend. So now, let us feel ourselves relax as we join together in today's community. Come, let us worship together.
The poet Jim Yerman wrote, "A candle loses nothing when it lights another candle." That is what she always say. What is a candle for, she'd ask, if not to help to light someone else's way? And the philosopher Albert Schweitzer wrote, "At times our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person." Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flames within us. And now, please join in saying the affirmation, which is printed on the back of your order of service and projected on the screen behind me. Love is the doctrine of this church, the quest for truth its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, and to serve humanity in harmony with the earth, thus do we covenant together. Now, please rise or remain seated as you wish, and feel free to join in singing our opening hymn, "The Human Touch Can Light the Flame," which is number 307 in the gray hymnal, and the words will be projected on the screen.
The human touch can light the flame, which gives a brightness to the day. The Spirit uses mortal flame, life's vehicle for work and play. The lover's kiss, the friend's embrace, the clasp of hands to show we care.
And now it is time for the Time for All Ages. Thank you. They anticipate me. Horizon partners with MetroCrest services to make a difference in our local community. Each week, you are invited to bring items for the MetroCrest pantry, such as shelf-stable foods, hygiene products like shampoo, toothpaste, tampons, etc., and diapers and baby wipes. If you have brought items for MetroCrest, it's already done. pass them to the aisles so they can be collected by our children. Now I would like to invite the young and the young at heart to come up in front and join Alan.
Good morning. Okay. Good morning. So today's story is called The Farmer's Luck, and it comes from the Zen Buddhist tradition. Do you know what Zen Buddhist is? Neither do I. There was once an old farmer who had worked his crops for many years. Together, he and his horse plowed the fields and carried loads of crops to storage and to market, which I'm glad I am not doing this summer. One day, his horse ran away. Upon hearing this news, his neighbors came to visit. "Such bad luck," they said sympathetically. "Maybe," said the farmer. The next morning, the horse returned, bringing with it 2 other wild horses. "Such good luck," the neighbors exclaimed. "Maybe," said the farmer. The following day, the farmer's son tried to ride one of the wild, untamed horses. He was thrown off of the horse and broke his leg. Again, the neighbors came to offer their sympathy on this occasion. "Such bad luck," they said. "Maybe," said the farmer. The next day, military officials came to the village to draft young men into the army to fight in a war. Seeing that his son's leg was broken, they passed him by. "Such good luck," said the neighbors. "Maybe," said the farmer. Do you understand what we're talking about here? How something that seems bad may not end up being bad, and something that seems good may not end up being good? Maybe that's what Zen is. Thank you.
Eric Walker Wilkstrom pointed out, "It is said the Lord loves a cheerful giver. Yet we'll accept from a grouch as well." As the ushers prepare to take this morning's offering, may each of us look into not just how our wallets and checkbooks are, but let us look into our hearts and see what is available there. How much love, how much generosity, how much faith, how much gratitude, how much hope. And let's take our offering from that account. The ushers will now collect the offerings to support the work of this church in our community and in the world.
Sing a song as you spun out from a star. And it is a great day, that day of your creation. Your harmony lives through us, your children we are. Mother Earth, my dear, starlight, although
inspired by your bounty, as you teach us how to give. Your sweet love's without exception, as it fills us with your magic. We sing to you our gratitude and prayers to let you live. Mother Earth, my dear, you are divine. Land and sea and starlight, all those upon you shine. Mother Earth, my dear, we feel your warm embrace. Spirits, gods, and creatures all live and love within your grace.
Our first reading for this morning is actually 4 whimsical poems from the mind of Shel Silverstein. The first poem is entitled The Voice. There is a voice inside you that whispers all day long, I feel that this is right for me, and I know that this is wrong. No teacher, preacher, parent, friend, or wise man can decide what's right for you. Just listen to the voice that speaks inside. Next reading is entitled, Put Something In. Draw a crazy picture, write a nutty poem, sing a mumble-gumble song, whistle through your comb, do a loony-goony dance, cross the kitchen floor, put something silly in the world that ain't been there before. The next poem is entitled, How Much, How Many? How many slams in an old screen door depends how loud you shut it. How many slices in a bread depends on how thin you cut it. How much good inside a day depends on how good you live 'em. How much love inside a friend depends on how much you give 'em. Our last poem is called Magic. Sandra's seen a leprechaun. Eddie touched a troll. Lori danced with witches once, and Charlie found some goblin's gold. Donald heard a mermaid sing. Susie spied an elf. But all the magic that I have known, I had to make myself.
And now we come to that time in our worship service that is set aside for the sharing of our joys and concerns, as well as meditation, prayer, and silence. Let us begin with 2 minutes of silence in which we can simply breathe and listen to the quiet sounds around us. Love is the doctrine of this church, and it is with this principle that we do walk with one another through our joys and sorrows, and especially in the way these things tend to arrive all at once in one tangled blessing we call life. This morning, we have 3 sorrows. The first is shared anonymously: deep sadness for the Supreme Court decisions that attack affirmative action, student loan forgiveness, and our LGBTQIA+ brothers and sisters. Sean Pruitt shares that this marks 1 year since the loss of Kay Williams. He left behind a wife and unborn child. In joy, that child is growing fast and started walking at just 10 months old. And Floyd McLaughlin asks, please keep my wife, Ellen Bratton, in your thoughts and prayers. Ellen buried her mother, who died in April, on June 17, and then her dad unexpectedly passed on June 26. Apologies. Oh, we're going to end up with a joy. Dan Crane shares that he is glad his shoulder is healing faster than he expected. Yay. Beyond these we have named aloud, let us honor those joys and sorrows that remain unspoken, yet live in the silence of our hearts, the stories of heartache or hope, beauty and loss. As I light this candle, let us feel the ways we are all connected to each other and to all beings, knowing that what affects one affects us all. And now, please remain seated or rise as you wish, and feel free to join in singing our pastoral response, From You I Receive, number 402 in the gray hymnal. The words are projected on the screen.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and from this we live. From you I receive,
Today's second reading are 4 quotations taken from Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl. 2 notes before the readings themselves. First, this book was written in 1946 when the literary standard was to use the words man and he to represent mixed groups of humans or an imaginary individual who might be either male or female. 2, Viktor Frankl was born in 1905 and died in 1997 at age 92. An Austrian Jewish psychiatrist and Holocaust survivor, he wrote Man's Search for Meaning as a memoir of his time in the Nazi death camps. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Ultimately, man should not ask what the meaning of life is, but rather must recognize that it is he who is asked. In a word, each man is questioned by life, and he can only answer to life by answering for his own life. To life, he can only respond by being responsible. For the first time in my life, I saw the truth as it is set into song by so many poets, proclaimed as the final wisdom by so many thinkers, the truth that love is the ultimate and highest goal to which man can aspire. Then I grasped the meaning of the greatest secret that human poetry and human thought and belief have to impart. The salvation of man is through love and in love. And finally, love goes very far beyond the physical person of the beloved. It finds its deepest meaning in his spiritual being, his inner self. Whether or not he is actually present, whether or not he is still alive at all, ceases somehow to be of importance. And now, please rise or remain seated as you wish, and feel free to join in singing For My Free Spirit Onward Leads, number 324 in the gray hymnal. The words are projected on the screen.
Where my free spirit onward leads, well, there shall be my way. My own light illumined, I've journeyed night and day. My age a time-worn cloak I wear, as once I wore my youth. I celebrate life's mystery, I celebrate death's truth. My family is not confined to mother, maid, and child, but it includes all creatures, be they tame or be they wild. My family upon this earth includes all living things, on land or in the ocean deep, or borne aloft on wings. The ever-spinning universe, well, there shall be my home. I sing and spin within it, as though this life I roam. Eternity is hard to ken, and harder still is this. A human life, when truly seen, is briefer than a kiss.
Well, this has been an eventful year so far. And although I do not know the details of everyone else's events, I know that for me, 2023 has been a real roller coaster of a year. There are so many places to start. But for today, We will start with breaking my wrist on Groundhog Day, which sent so many ripples spinning out. Looking back at the last 5 months, I am reminded of the Zen Buddhist story, The Farmer's Luck, our story earlier in the service. The point is that events are just events. How they impact you is determined by your own response. So for me, broken wrist, 6 weeks off work. Part of that was spent as 2 weeks visiting my daughter Rachel and her fiance Anthony in St. Louis. We have not, she and I, spent this much time together in probably 20 years. There were other ripples too, but they are not part of this story. Later in the year, during the first week of June, I visited Rachel and Anthony again, and the three of us visited my mother and sister in upstate New York. It had been nearly 6 years since I had last visited my mother and sister, and about 20 for my daughter. The broken wrist and the response from neighbors and friends from many circles of life, including the Horizon community. I'm sorry. As well as the visits with Rachel, Anthony, and my sister Catherine, who was 18 years older than myself, and my mother, 35 years older than myself, left me with so many swirling emotions and questions about home, about family, about relationships. Where is home? What is home? Can there really be more than one home? Who are family? How can things fall apart and come together separately and at the same time? At the time of the June visit, I was also trying to come up with a sermon topic for today, without much success. I was feeling somewhat overwhelmed, but listening to the Klezmatics song, An Undoing World, and sharing stories with Rachel and Anthony of my growing up years in Niskayuna and Schenectady, I finally decided to address some of those questions. Now, I am certain that each of you has at least one adventure story that would rival mine, but this is not a competition. It is a realization of all that we have in common. I think that my adventures so far this year, although personal and unique to me, are merely one variation in a theme every being around our globe encounters throughout life. Sometimes, perhaps frequently, each of us feels tangled up inside, confused mentally and emotionally. Some may, perhaps, look at others and believe that others have everything figured out and all the good luck on their side, leaving only universal, lifelong bad luck for the viewer. Others may, like the farmer in The Farmer's Luck, only see events that need to be accepted and handled. The readings that I chose for this service were suggested to my mind through friendships with Alan Sprout and Elizabeth Gustwick. Elizabeth mentioned Viktor Frankl and a quotation that she could not completely recall. I think that quotation from his first book, Man's Search for Meaning, is this: "It did not really matter what we expected from life, but rather what life expected from us. We needed to stop asking about the meaning of life and instead to think of ourselves as those who were being questioned by life, daily and hourly. Our answer must consist not in talk and meditation, but in right action and in right conduct. Life ultimately means taking the responsibility to find the right answer to its problems and to fulfill the tasks which it constantly sets for each individual. Now, I had perhaps heard Viktor Frankl referenced before by others, but it was not until this conversation with Elizabeth that I was spurred to search for the imperfectly recalled quotation, and in that search that I learned anything about him. I think now, over the next couple of years, I will need to read at least some of his books. They will not, I think, be the relatively light reading of the mystery novels that I so dearly love. However, I am sure there will be much that is thought-provoking and growth-provoking in them. Certainly, An Undoing World, a song by the Klezmatics, was thought-provoking to me and to my offspring. I will share a core section of the lyrics which runs through my mind from time to time. Don't cry out and cling in terror, darling, that's a fatal error, clinging to a someone that you thought you knew was yours. Dispossession by attrition is a permanent condition that the wretched modern world endures. You drift away. You're carried by a stream. Refugee, a wanderer, you roam. You lose your way. So it will come to seem no place in particular is home. You glance away. Your house has disappeared. The sweater you've been knitting has unpearled. You live adrift, and everything you feared comes to you in this undoing world. On the one hand, perhaps a rather bleak and depressing outlook. On the other hand, perhaps a realistic outlook that the farmer would understand. I am generally an optimistic person by nature. I do not always have the answers to the tough questions that I am facing. Still, I remain certain that things will work out, one way or another. So, listening to this song and hearing its truth snuggling up against my own outlook, I found myself wondering again, where is home? What is home? Can there be more than one home? Who are family? How can things fall apart and come together separately and at the same time? My family researched questions always. So I started by trying to answer the questions about home. I think the underlying question is, how do each of us define home or family? I went looking for definitions of home on the internet and found many variations on the same theme, love and support. A few. Baseball player Sam Ewing said, "When you finally go back to your old home, you find it wasn't the old home you missed, but your childhood." The multi-talented Benjamin Franklin said, "A house is not a home unless it contains food and fire for the mind as well as the body." The poet Robert Frost said, "Home is a place where, when you have to go there, they have to take you in." American writer Tad Williams said, "Never make your home in a place. Make a home for yourself inside your own head. You'll find what you need to furnish it, a memory, friends you can trust, love of learning, and other such things. That way, it will go with you wherever you journey." The ancient Roman philosopher and naturalist Pliny the Elder said simply, "Home is where the heart is." And according to brainyquote.com, the Dalai Lama has said, "Home is where you feel at home and are treated well." I like all of those thoughts. They suit me. Sam Ewing has nailed absolutely the fact that Niskayuna and Schenectady I love because I had a good childhood there, full of love and conflict and learning experiences. Each time I go, it feels like coming home, but it is not truly coming home, rather like trying to wear the same clothes I wore at age 18. I still love them, but I cannot fit back into them. The house of my childhood now has a basketball court in front instead of a huge sugar maple tree, and it belongs to someone else. I cannot take Rachel and Anthony inside to show them my memories, although I can show them the front outside of the house, sharing that memory visually, and the others verbally. Wherever I have lived, there has been conversation, shows, songs, tales, books, food and fire for the mind and spirit, as well as the body. And in recent decades, each time that I found I must leave my current abode, there has been someone in my acquaintances helping me find a new home, sometimes sharing their own home with me for a while. And in whatever home I have had, not whatever house or apartment, but whatever home, it has felt like home because I am treated well and want to treat it and the family I have there well. And then I think of nomadic peoples, people who have no fixed abode year-round, and of refugees who leave a fixed year-round abode that is no longer safe for them and travel to a strange place to try to make a new home. I think of one friend who is classified as unhoused. He camps out throughout the year, gets sign-holding jobs and jobs painting house numbers on sidewalk curbs. He walks or bicycles everywhere. He has taken trips out of Texas nearly every year that I have known him, frequently cycling most of the way. To California, Oklahoma, New Mexico. He has taken a couple of trips to Puerto Rico and even one to Hawaii. He keeps looking for ways to make things work out. And still, like the migratory birds, he comes back each year to North Texas. I like to think that he comes back because he thinks of this area still as at least one place, that is, home. Upon reflection, I think that those 5 descriptions of home fit the nomad, the refugee, and my friend, as well as they fit me. Wherever you are, home is where you feel the connections of love, acceptance, support, challenges, and a sense of family. All right then. If home includes a sense of family, how is family defined? Who are family? Well, looking up definitions for the noun, I found at least 9 fairly clinical definitions, including a unit of a crime syndicate, such as the mafia, operating within a geographical area. Not the definition I was looking for necessarily. And I found a wonderful definition in Wikipedia encompassing family of origin and family of choice. A family of choice, also known as chosen family, found family, kith and kin, is a term that refers to non-biologically related group of people established to provide ongoing social support. Unlike a family of origin, the biological family in which one is raised, a family of choice is based on chosen bonds, not biological ones. So, if home is where you feel love, acceptance, support, challenges, and a sense of family, you may find that you have many homes, or maybe one area of home that encompasses several units of found family. I know I have a work family. We celebrate birthdays and holidays, share mutual experiences related to work, and individual experiences that we think might interest each other, finding unexpected commonalities as well as differences. We offer support in times of difficulty and sometimes gather outside of work just to spend time together in another way. I have a gaming family. We play Dungeons and Dragons together. We celebrate birthdays and holidays, share mutual experiences and individual experiences, finding unexpected commonalities as well as differences, offer support in times of difficulty, and sometimes gather outside of gaming just to spend time together in another way. I have a Horizon family. We worship together, work on projects together, celebrate holidays and important occasions together, share mutual and individual experiences, finding unexpected commonalities as well as differences, offer support in times of difficulty, and sometimes gather outside of Horizon just to spend time together in another way. I have found family members outside of these three families, and, of course, for quite a number of us, pets are a part of our family, not a luxury for the good times, but an adopted family member for all times. Also, I have a family of origin spread from New York to St. Louis and all around Texas. I do not see them as often as I see my found family members, but they are there for me, and I know that I love them all, even when we cannot or are not speaking to each other on anything like a regular basis. There was a period of 5 years in which Rachel, my daughter, was not speaking with me and had even blocked me on Facebook. When she was ready to speak again, she reached out, and we are regrowing our relationship. It is evolving, and that period of 5 years was a needed part of the evolution for both of us, just as some seeds do not grow until the hard shell around them is cracked by fire, or as a caterpillar must isolate in a cocoon in order to become a butterfly. Well then, it seems to me that one's family, in the largest sense, can include both found family and family of origin, although it may exclude for some members of the family of origin. The family one has, original, found, or both, should be there to provide ongoing social support. Whoever you are, wherever you are, family is a major source of the connections, love, acceptance, support, challenges, inspiration, comfort that you and each of us needs to create home. I would like to believe that everyone here today, online or in person, everyone around the world, in fact, has some family that is there to support each other with love, words, deeds, time, and affection. I suspect, however, that there are some individuals who are still looking for that family. For each and every one of them, I hope they find that family soon. I know that I have found and I suspect that each of you have found also, that even with home and family, things do fall apart. Relationships break, jobs are lost, friends and family members move away or die, and it is equally clear that things come together. New jobs, new relationships, new opportunities and ideas. So, how can things fall apart and come together separately and at the same time? Well, this sounds an awful lot like the rudimentary understanding that I have of entropy, that it is a process which reduces order to chaos. Clearly, there must be more to it than that, or no order would continue to exist in the world. Again, the internet came to my aid as I searched entropy and chaos. A Wikipedia article, Life and Entropy, came up with this. In a popular 1982 textbook, Principles of Biochemistry, noted American biochemist Albert Leninger argued that the order produced within cells as they grow and divide is more than compensated for by the disorder they create in their surroundings in the course of growth and division. In short, according to Leninger, living organisms preserve their internal order by taking from their surroundings free energy in the form of nutrients or sunlight, and returning to their surroundings an equal amount of energy as heat and entropy. I had to read that several times, breaking it down into short sections, before I could see the link to my questions about home, family, things falling apart, as they seemed to me to be doing this year in particular, and things coming together, as they also seemed to me to be doing this year. And while doing that, one of the quotations from Viktor Frankl came back to my mind. Ultimately, man should not ask what the meaning of his life is, but rather must recognize that it is he who is asked. In a word, each man is questioned by life, and he can only answer to life by answering for his own life. To life, he can only respond by being responsible. It may make more sense to approach the problems we encounter as simply what needs to be handled or taken care of in order to keep living and encountering new questions. If we simply take each thing that happens as a thing that happened, rather than great good fortune or dire misfortune, then it may be easier to deal with it. After all, it seems fairly clear that each of us freely benefits from our surroundings, including friends and family and popular media, receiving energy in the form of words, ideas, affection, deeds, inspiration, and time. From these we grow, and as we grow, there is some disorder, as some old things, comfortable and uncomfortable, must be let go in order to bring in something new. Also, as we go through the world, growing and learning, we give back to those around us. And it is in this way that even as things fall apart in one way, things come together in another, separately and at the same time. Even as the events are separate, they are connected in some way through those ripples, through you, through me, through us. And what keeps us moving on as this entropy of life happens all around each of us? Someone with words or actions makes a connection. Briefly in passing, or prolonged over time, rekindling the flame inside you or me, with a spark of their own flame, sharing the light that helps each of us see our way and to light the way for others. Shel Silverstein, I think, said it well in the 4 poems we heard earlier. 1, no teacher, preacher, parent, friend, or wise man can decide what's right for you. Just listen to the voice that speaks inside. 2, all the magic I have known, I've had to make myself. 3, put something silly in the world that ain't been there before. And 4, how much good inside a day depends on how good you live 'em. How much love inside a friend depends on how much you give 'em. So, as we go back out into the world today, let's embrace the undoing and the doing. Let's listen to our inner voices and be open to the possibility that the next person, the next being you meet, may well be the newest member of your found family, and you may be the first member of their found family. And even if it is only a brief meeting, you may well be the one that rekindles their flame. So now, please remain seated or standing as you wish, and join in Here We Have Gathered, number 360 in the gray hymnal. The words are projected on the screen.
Here we have gathered, gathered side by side. Circle of kinship, come and step inside. May all who seek here find the kindly word. May all who speak here feel they have been heard. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Here we have gathered, called to celebrate days of our lifetime that are small and great. They of all ages, women, children, men, infants to sages, hearing will begin. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Life has its battles, sorrows, and regret, but in the shadows let us not forget. We who now gather know each other's pain. Kindness can heal us, sharing that we gain. Sing now to friendship this our heart's own song.
We extinguish the flame, but not our commitment to Horizon's mission to welcome radically, love boldly, grow spiritually, and serve courageously. This we do because we envision a beloved community filled with compassion, helping all to thrive in a just world.
If you have not already done so, please join hands as you are willing and able. Let us all, individually and together, go back out into our world to respond to events by being responsible, to build home in so many ways and in so many places, with room always for new family members and for the rhythms of things falling apart and coming together. We can start by taking a minute to say hello to someone around you, especially someone you may not already know, and then continue that conversation in fellowship hall and meet the artists there as well.